What motivated you to join the political game?
Well, I mean, I guess you could say it started back in 2000. Maybe in and around the first time I was actually able to vote. If you recall about that election, that was Bush and Gore, and the Supreme Court made a decision that said, hey, this is who our president is going to be. My mind peaked to get involved into politics in that aspect just because I was like, well, we vote for a reason. Fast forward, I've always been community driven. My heart is a servant's heart. And a lot of the parents and the families that I had to serve were in dire need of services. And I have always said that teachers are on the front line. They're essential employees, just the same way we look at, maybe our police and our firefighters, because we are dealing with real issues in real time, and we're the ones that pretty much got to come up with solutions for them. And so once I started to get into that, I realized I wanted to run for office. My heart was there to serve and do it for the right reasons. And so here I am now, here in Alamance County, running for State House, because again, I was asked to serve. And I make a choice. You either run to the fight or you run from the fight. And I've never been afraid to run to the fight when the cause is correct.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Pastor Covington, and this is another edition of Conversations with Covington. And today I am so blessed in this political season to have with me Brother LeVon Barnes, and we're going to learn about him and his candidacy. All right. Welcome to Conversations with Covington, man.
Man, it's a pleasure and an honor to be in front of you and to be on the show.
Hey, well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, my name is LeVon Barnes. I always have to say that. Born and raised in Staten Island, New York, by two parents who are believers. My mom introduced me to church from while I was in her stomach, man. She's one of 16 from Latta, South Carolina, and so she's a Baptist. My dad was a Catholic, and I went to a Lutheran private school, so I'm all over the place. But long story short, graduated from Curtis High School in Staten Island, went to Campbell University in Bowies Creek, North Carolina, on a baseball scholarship. Graduated with my degree in physical education. Wound up going to DC teaching, which is what I do now. But I really had a love for college basketball, so I became a college basketball coach and crisscrossed the country for about 10 years, getting my master's degree at Prairie View A&M University just outside of Houston, Texas, and then wound up coming back to Durham in 2013, where I was teaching and coaching, and then bought a house out here in Mebane in 2021. I'm a proud parent of a 2-year-old daughter that's like 25, and getting married in about 2 weeks. So so it's a lot going on.
Praying for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move to the political end of things.
Yeah.
So you're running, of course, for North Carolina House 64. Tell us about the demography of demographics and the geography of.
Right. Well, you've been here a long time. We're playing double dutch in Alamance County, depending on the political year. 64 was once what 63 was. So Alamance County is split into two House districts. So in this particular cycle, 64 will cover East Burlington, South Burlington, all of Mebane, all of Graham, Green Level, Haw River, all the way down to Saxon-Bahar, Snow Camp. So that's the demographics of that particular district in this cycle. And it's primarily been Republican leaning, but there's been such an influx of folks who have moved into the county from Durham and Orange and Wake, Guilford, New York, California, you name it, that there's a really, really great chance that we're going to flip this seat. It's a much needed seat that needs to be flipped, just because of what's been going on in our county. Our school system is a disrepair. Things like that.
I guess that's the lead-in question that you sort of lead me to ask you.
Yeah.
From your vantage point, what has been going on in this county that's motivating you to run for that particular seat at this particular?
Well, I mean, I care about public schools. I'm a public school teacher in year 20, and when I know that our schools are being purposefully disfunded because we want to create open vouchers or a voucher system that is only allowing folks who have means to send their children to private schools for free on a public dime, I'm frustrated with that. I'm frustrated with the fact that, as a father of a daughter, that the government feels, or this particular state government feels, that they should be in that doctor's office and making decisions about what my daughter and what other daughters and women have to. That ain't right. That's not the role of government. And lastly, I feel like, Alamance County is in a period of transition because of the growth that's coming into the county. There's a lot of people who are going to feel it in the adverse way. Growth is good, but not on the backs of people who may not have. So raising the minimum wage is something that's critically important. We are on the back end. We are still $7.25. Nobody can live off $7.25 in this day and age. So raising the minimum wage is critically important. And you got to have leaders who see that, who understand that. They may not have to have lived it, but if you're listening to your constituents, then you understand what is critically needed. And that's what we don't have right now.
Okay. So education, appropriate health care, particularly as you talk
Yes.
about around women's issues.
Yeah.
And housing? Is that-
Well, we're just raising the minimum wage, which would include
okay.
housing because rents are high.
Yeah.
And folks are struggling to even just do that. And that's people who are doing what I do. There are teachers right now that I know that are living in a car and they work full time. That ain't right, or have to work 2 or 3, 4 jobs just to keep afloat. So if somebody who's degreed has that, imagine somebody who may not have all that. And they're trying to make it and provide for their family and do what's best for their children. It's almost impossible to do. The system is strained, and we have not invested in it. And purposely, again, when you have a supermajority of one side and they're showing you their cards every single day, at some point in time, we gotta remix the system, I would say, and have people in there who are going to say, no, our people need this. This is not a handout, but this is just more of a support, which is what government needs so folks can experience the things that they want to experience in life.
As one who is running for state house,
Yeah.
How do you feel about local government here? And
Yeah, I mean, it's work hand in hand. You got to be connected. We're all interconnected. North Carolina is a state-ran system. I have friends like Anthony Pierce and Chris Smith and Tamika Harvey and Seneca. These folks are running for school board and county commissioners. They can't do their job unless the state gives them the money to be able to do their job. So if there's no conversation between state and local, if there's that disconnect there, then everybody suffers for that. And so I believe, like most people, that local people know what local people need. The state has to provide funding to be able to expand the services that the counties and the schools want. But if we don't do that, if we're squeezing every dime, every nickel, and taking away, that puts more strain on the local residents because the only recourse is for raising taxes, and that's how other things get funded.
okay. All right. Why should someone vote for Mr. Barnes?
It's a great question. Somebody should vote for me because literally I have a lived experience of what most folk in Alamance have gone through. I know what it's like to have been unemployed. I know what it's like to not know where my next meal is going to come from. I know what it's like to rebound and get that job that you wanted and make that money and then buy a home for the first time. It's taken me so long to just buy a home, and I feel like I was a good steward of my money. So understanding that, knowing what children need, knowing what the next generation is looking to do, knowing what our seniors and our seasoned folk need, I think I'm a people person. I'm a servant. I'm a community leader. I'm one that you can have a conversation with and come away from that conversation as that person's listening to me. And that's just kind of how I was raised and whatnot. So voting for me is voting for community. Voting for me is saying, hey, I know I have a representative. He may not be able to do all of it, but he's going to try very, very hard to make it happen for us. So that's what that means.
Excellent. What community types of clubs or activities are you involved in the local community?
So, yeah, absolutely. So within within North Carolina, I have a mentor organization that's been nationally recognized for Black and brown young males called Young Male Achievers. Oh. I founded that in 2005, and then I brought it to North Carolina in 2013. We have literally, almost 50 million in college scholarships. 150 young men have come through that program. We've eliminated in-school suspension, which was the real reason why I brought it to where I was at. We have just opened up so many pathways for these young men, and that's my pride and joy. So I've done that throughout the entire state. Locally, I participate in, NAACPs, and I participate in, within the Democratic Party, which I'm a part of and volunteer. COVID has kind of changed a lot of what we do, and folks are very much in the silos still, and we're starting to come out of that. But I just want the people to know I'm connected, and I will be connected.
Okay. Yeah. Now, if someone wanted to get in touch with you or be a part of your campaign efforts, give us some contact information.
Yeah, they can reach me at LeVon for NC, and that's LeVonForNC.com. You will find information where you can volunteer, where you can donate. You can reach me directly at LeVon for NC at my Gmail, and all the handles. That's Instagram, the Twitter, or X, Facebook. The TikTok will be coming out, Lord knows. I've had to branch into that world too, but that's how you can reach me.
Okay. All right. Are you available for speaking engagements? And
I go where I'm asked. If I have a minute, I will give it to you, but I'm gonna give you the best minute.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm available to come speak to any church, any youth group, any groups, whether or not you agree with me or not on issues too. And I think that's also important to put out there is sure. I'm not afraid to listen to differences of opinion, to learn, and I'm sure there'll be middle ground at somewhere within the conversation.
Great, that is great. Well, as we move to close our time together, if there's anything you want to share with us, we're open. Because I want to make sure that people get to know you and experience you. And make sure that they are available to you as well as you're available to them. So, anything else you'd like?
I just want to talk about the importance of voting. A lot of times in this particular election, we're going to hear it's the most consequential election of our lifetime, and you're going to hear all these words, right? Every election is consequential,
sure.
And we need to be voting in every election because you may not like what you see at the top. But it is your down ballot races, your state house and senate and your county commissioners, board of elections, your judges. Mm-hmm. Those are the folks that are going to affect you more than what you see in the headlines. And we have to break this notion that my vote doesn't count. Your vote does count. Mm-hmm. It truly does count. And in this county alone, folks have lost by 10 votes. Nationally, I think Joe Biden might have lost if we would have flipped 500 votes in this county alone, he would have flipped the state. So to say that your vote don't count, that is not true. Don't take away choice from yourself, and don't take away choice from the next generation. Because if you sit out, the choices that are being made today are going to affect the kids of tomorrow. So we got to vote.
You heard it, my brothers and sisters. Listen, I love that last message. You need to vote. Early vote is going to be starting pretty soon. Find out those locations. Make sure you have the proper identification. This young brother has made himself available. He comes with experience, lived experience, with interest, and of course, being a pioneer in youth mentoring. and he has a lot to offer. We want you to consider Mr. Barnes for State House. God bless you. Until next time, remember, God loves you. I love you too. Go vote. Peace.